where she was being a read, and she was our princess. Jonathan was our ladies' man. Jonathan would actually go in the store and start throwing kisses to the women.
A devastated granddad speaks out as a sick, twisted couple sit in jail tonight, charged with hideous crimes related to the disappearance and presumed death of two adorable little children. Tonight, cops say these two individuals, there's one and we'll see the other in a moment, there he is, pointing the finger at each other from behind bars. Police say this dad, John DeBlase, admitted to them that he buried the bodies of his two children, 4-year-old Natalie and 3-year-old Chase. The children's stepmom, Heather Keaton, is accused of child abuse. Now, the boy, Chase, was reportedly last seen in March. His older sister, Natalie, look how beautiful these kids are. Look how beautiful these kids are. Last seen in June, this little girl. This case heated up just a couple of weeks ago when the stepmom, Heather, went to cops begging, please give me a restraining order against my husband. She said she suspected he may have murdered his children. That's the first time they found out about this. His kids went missing in the summer. Now there's the dad. Okay, cops caught up with him and they say he just spontaneously blurted out, I didn't do it. Kind of suspicious, huh? They hadn't even asked him a question yet. Police say the dad later admitted that he killed the children. And what's more, they say dad was so wasted on pills, he doesn't even remember exactly where he allegedly dumped his children's bodies, except to say that each child was allegedly dumped in different states. One in Mississippi, one in Alabama. Okay? And this dad, again, he admits that the children are dead, and he admits to disposing of the bodies. As to whether or not he admits to killing them, we're still trying to figure that out. He apparently is pointing the finger at the stepmom. Neither of them is charged with murder, okay? Could the dad have killed these kids and not remembered that either? Give me a call, 1-877-JVM says. Straight out to reporter Sherry Ward from the Mississippi Press and the Mobile Press Register. Sherry, what are these parents charged with tonight, and what is the very latest? Sort out this very complicated case for us, please.
Well, they're charged with child abuse and child neglect and then abuse of a corpse. I'm told by Mobile investigators the reason why the father is charged with abuse of a corpse is because of the way the bodies were disposed of. It wasn't properly. Now, each of them are pointing the finger at each other. One thing that they have agreed on so far is that the little boy has been dumped in Van Cleve, Mississippi. It's a rural area. Investigators said that the father led them out there Saturday. They examined about a 12-mile radius. He told investigators that he actually took a shovel and had planned to bury the boy, but the ground is really thick, hard clay, and it was too hard for him to dig, and he dumped his body. He told the Jackson County Sheriff's investigators and the sheriff that he was so messed up on drugs, he wasn't exactly clear where in Van Cleve he left him, but it's a rural wooded area. So, you know, it's hard to say.
Who is saying anything about how these children died and why?
Nobody's saying anything about how they died yet, because apparently they're just pointing the finger at each other. He did it, she did it. Investigators at this point haven't been clear with whether or not, you know, they were killed by the mother, the father, the stepmother. They don't know at this point.
Or if they died from neglect, right?
Right.
And then later, as these children died from neglect, they may have been buried. Look at these angels. It's unbelievable. Now, here's the thing. Cops say dad told them, as you mentioned, Sherry, that he was so high on pills when he dumped his own children's bodies in their graves in 2 different states, he doesn't remember exactly where he put them.
Right.
That's what police say. He told them on Saturday morning as he led a group of officers around a rural area near a Mississippi highway. Now, cops say that's why the dad couldn't pinpoint, hey, here's the exact location of little Chase or Natalie, which brings me to my big issue, pill-popping parent. If dad's high on pills at that time, can we make the assumption that this isn't the first time? And if it's not the first time he's high on pills, addiction expert Jamison Monroe, should we wonder if drug abuse has everything to do with this gut-wrenching story?
Jenny, I don't think it had everything to do with it, but I do think it was a large possibility, because it is possible to, while you're abusing substances, to black out for long periods of time, days even. So while DeBlase probably had characteristics that were, you know, not positive per se, the substance abuse could have exacerbated those, and especially if he was in a blackout, it could have made them even worse, to where he would have been acting and not really even knowing what he was doing.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, Wendy Murphy, that's a good answer, but I think when Dad's high on pills, when he's disposing of his children's body, I think there's a good bet that he might have a drug abuse problem, and that's one of the reasons why these kids were neglected, allegedly.
Yeah, and let's mix together the drug abuse with the sexual abuse that was reportedly going on, too. Those two things often come together. And then how many stories have we done where kids then end up, you know, sexually abused kids then end up dead in a swamp somewhere? This is not the first time, Jane. What I'm outraged about is the idea that this guy thinks because he was wasted, that somehow forgives him the memory problem that he's so conveniently developing around the location of the bodies. We do have a legal system problem in this country that too often when somebody is wasted on drugs, we give them a discount when they kill children, when we should be giving them an uptick in punishment, saying, are you kidding me? Bad enough you hurt your child. You are also a drug abuser. You're going to jail twice as long. But in this country, we give discounts. That's embarrassing, and it is an epidemic
these kids
in
have
our
been
courts.
missing since this summer. Where on earth with the Department of Children and Family Services?
Exactly.
Samantha, Texas, your question or thought, ma'am?
Yes, I have never in my life seen so many copycats night after night after night. Somebody's killing the kids, burying the kids. You know, this whole generation that's coming along now, they're crazy. They're high on pills, this, that, and another. It's no excuse for this. There's no excuse for killing your children and then burying them.
Yeah, 10 seconds, Dr. Dale Archer. Are we just learning more about it, or is it getting worse?
Well, unfortunately, we are in a narcissistic culture where if kids are a burden or a problem, the parents feel that they're just going to get rid of them. And I think that along with the drug abuse, that's what happened here.
Hang on, more on the other side. Stay right where you are. And